Hello and welcome back to another video tutorial for Procreate. My name is Melissa Tennyson and I'm the owner of 3milelaneco. And today we are going to be making another food sticker. Today is National Sloppy Joe Day and I sure do love my Sloppy Joes. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is find an inspiration photo. I really like to use unsplash.com. They have royalty-free images that you can use as inspiration in your artwork. I'm going to go ahead and search for Sloppy Joe and let's just see what comes up. Not much. There are only two that I saw that actually had a sandwich that could resemble a Sloppy Joe. I might have to resort to another picture for this one. We're gonna go ahead and Google it. Sloppy Joe. We're just going to use it as our inspiration to kind of get the texture of the meat and the bun. So we're gonna use this as our inspiration photo. And again, I'm not going to use the actual image. I'm just going to use it as a reference. We're going to grab a standard canvas and we're using the 1500 by 1500 on the P3 color profile. And here we go. We're going to start out with black and I have my Freycinet brush selected. I'm going to go ahead and add a reference photo by going to Canvas and Reference. And then I'm going to select Image and Import. I'm going to bring that Sloppy Joe in and that's perfect. I just want to get a nice reference of that Sloppy Joe. Let's put it up here so we can work over here. I just really want to capture the texture of the meat. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and draw the bun first. So I have that base layer. And again, we're sketching out first and then we're going to go back in and fill in all the fine details. And while we're here, we're going to go ahead and grab our color palette. So we've got this rich, meaty sauce, kind of like a mix between a spaghetti and a barbecue sauce almost. Okay. So we've got our sketch, just a very rough basic sketch, and I think I am going to put it onto a plate. So we're gonna kind of draw our plate kind of somewhere in there, but we want it to have a little bit more lip on it. So I've got my color palette here. What I'm gonna do is throw that onto a layer of its own. So I've hit the selection tool, freehand, and I drew my circle around there. So I'm gonna swipe down with 3 fingers. We're gonna cut and paste that. That's gonna put it onto its own layer. That way I can turn the opacity down by clicking on the N, which is the blend mode for this layer. We're gonna turn the opacity down so we can sketch, we can draw on top of our sketch. All right, so now I am going to add a new layer on top of that. I'll just keep my color palette up there. I can turn that layer off later when I'm ready. So now I'm going to get to actually drawing what I want this to look like. I'm going to make my sketch just a little smaller because we do want to leave room for the offset for our sticker. And we're going to start with the bun and then we're going to go to the filling from there. So the bun, I need this new layer. There we go. So the bun is nice and round. And it has a rounded top on it, and then we're just going to kind of curve it, kind of like that. Now we're going to get the bottom bun, and then we're going to curve it down. All right. So that's looking pretty good. I am gonna tilt this a little bit so it's a little bit more straight up and down on the plate. Okay. Now I have the bun ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and add another layer We're gonna go underneath the bun and we're going to draw our plate. Now we've got our plate. Let's just go ahead and connect it back here. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and add another layer on top of the plate. And this is going to be our fry layer. So let's go ahead and get those zigzag fries. So there's one fry done. We're gonna draw just another, actually let's go ahead and just duplicate this and then we can kind of rotate it around, and we'll have to delete some, but I think this will probably be the easiest way to go around doing this here. We want it, you know, to look like a pile of fries, but we're also going to need to clean it up so it looks better. So I'm just gonna pile these on high real quick. And now what I'm gonna do is turn the opacity down on all but the one that I wanna work on. So we're gonna turn the opacity down on these. And this one is in the foreground, so I'm gonna get my eraser, and I have the second fry selected, the one that is one of the ones behind the clearly marked one, and I'm just gonna take a eraser and I'm just gonna erase inside this fry so that it looks like this fry's in the very front. Just make sure you get whatever's in the back. All right, we're gonna do the same thing, erase part of the fry that's on the next layer down. So now that I have that fry done, I need to do some of the other fries. So I'm going to turn the blend mode back up on this one. And since this one's in the front, I can leave that blend mode up high. But I'm going to go ahead and leave these others down low. Now we're going to grab our eraser again and figure out which fry is behind this guy. There he is. Alright, so the other thing that we need to do is erase the portion of the plate that's behind the fries. So we're just going to go ahead and erase this line. Alright, that is done. And now I need to erase the portion of the fries that should be behind the Sloppy Joe, and then erase the Sloppy Joe bun that is behind the fry. So let's start with this fry up here, which I think is, yep, that guy right there. Let's click on the bun and erase the part of the bun that should be behind this fry, just like that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and connect this fry because I see that it's not quite connected there. All right, there's that. Now what I'm going to do is grab the fry that's behind here. I want this guy right here, and I think that's this one. Yep. So we're going to click on him. Oops, grab the eraser. We're going to erase this one. Now we've got that. And I think we're looking pretty good. When we go to color the fries in, it will kind of break them up a little bit more. I think we'll look a lot better once we get that done. All right, let's do the Sloppy Joe filling. For this, I want it on top of the bun because I want to make it look like it's really coming out of the bun. So what I'm going to do on this is we're just going to grab our brush, and I'm going to make it look kind of gloopy and gloppy because sloppy, you know, it's a Sloppy Joe. It needs to look like it's got some substance to it. And then kind of come in and out of that bun, just kind of weave around there, and then I'm just gonna kind of like make like little cloud looking little lumps in it. So now that I've got that, I want to go back to the bun layer and grab my eraser, and we're going to erase the harsh bun lines. All right, now that's looking more like a Sloppy Joe. Now it's time to get some color in there, and then we can add a little bit more detail if we want to. So I'm going to, let's just delete the sketch layer. We're good, we don't need that anymore. I've got our plate layer down here. Let's start with the plate since it's the one furthest back. I'm gonna use this white color, so I'm just gonna hold down to get that color selected. And I'm gonna bring up my brush a little bit. And I'm gonna color it in because I still wanna keep as much of that brush texture as possible. Oh, hang on. We gotta make sure we're on a layer underneath the layer that is the outline. So here's the outline of the plate, and this is the layer I wanna color on underneath it so that we don't lose any of that outline. All right, here we go. We're going to add a layer under this fry, and if we turn the layer on and off, we can see where that is. And I can also see I need to erase a little bit of that fry that's behind the Sloppy Joe. I'm gonna grab the eraser and I'm just gonna get on that layer first and then we can erase it right here. All right, now let's go back to the layer underneath and we can start coloring in just that fry. This one here. Okay. So the side of the fry, most of it, I want this golden color. And this is going to be pretty much the same for all the fries. I'm going to take that darker color and I'm going to kind of color it right where the valleys of the fry are going to be. And any of the sides that look like they're facing away, so you can't really see them as well. And also kind of where the shadow is. I'm going to take that lighter color, I'm going to color in over that. And then we are going to blend this all together. So I just want to make sure, I'm going to toggle that outline layer off again, make sure I colored in all the places that I want. That's not part of it, so I'm actually going to erase this little section here. Oops, get the eraser and we'll erase this little section here because that's a different fry. All right, so again, I'm just going to toggle the color on and off, toggle the layer on and off so I can make sure I'm coloring where I want. Now I'm going to go ahead and alpha lock this layer with the color on it. I'm going to come up to the adjustments and we're going to gauge and blur just to kind of blend some of those colors together so it looks more like a natural fry. All right, I'm going to turn alpha lock off. I'm going to add another layer above that fry and find this one. This is the fry in the very back. Okay, there's a couple places that I think I can erase a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and grab the eraser. Make sure that you're on the layer and we can erase a little bit here. There we go. All right, back to the color layer and the same thing. And then I'm just going to repeat those steps with the other fries. Now that we've got those fries colored in, let's jump over to that Sloppy Joe. So I'm going to go a color layer under the bun. We're going to start with the bun. Got some bun colors right over here. So I'm going to take this darker color and color it all in first. I want to bring those fry layers on top of the Sloppy Joe. So I'm going to go ahead and select all those fry layers and group them. I'm going to bring the fries above the color layer of the Sloppy Joe. That way I still have the outline in front, but I have the color in the back. So I'm not coloring over the fries that I have already done. So here we go. We're just going to finish this off like this. We're going to add a little bit of shading to our bun. So I'm going to grab this darker color and I'm just going to kind of go around where some shadows might be. And I'm going to say our light's coming from this direction because the tops of all the fries are the lightest. And there's kind of some shadow on this right side of it. So we're going to say that that's where the shadow of our bun's going to be. So we're just going to kind of shade everything in like our light source is coming from the upper left here. I'm going to go ahead and alpha lock that again. We're going to gauge and blur that. Yeah, that's looking like a good burger. Okay. Now we're going to get into the Sloppy Joe layer. So we're going to add another color layer underneath the Sloppy Joe. And we're going to color all of it in pretty dark and then add in the light spots on top, because from a reference photo, it was a pretty dark photo, but there were some areas that were a little bit lighter than others. So I'm going to do mostly dark. I'm just going to outline it and then fill it all in here. And again, I want to keep that texture of this brush, so that's why I'm not color dropping. Now we're going to grab this yummy lighter red color. I'm going to bring my brush down a little bit, and then we're just going to kind of follow those cloud lines that we drew. And we're going to gauge and blur this, so don't worry about what it looks like right now. And then I'm going to grab this lighter color, and we're going to give it a little more shading here and there. So again, alpha lock, come up to your adjustments, gauge and blur and layer, and we're just going to kind of blend it all together. So I'm doing about 3.8%. I'm going to go ahead and grab the smudge tool. I'm going to hold down so that it selects my current brush, which is a Freycinet. And then I'm going to just come in here and just kind of smudge it a little bit more. That's going to give us more texture too, because it's smudging with our textured brush. So it still has kind of that gradient look, but we also get to bring some of that texture back in. Want to add some poppy seeds to that bun. We're going to go ahead and grab this lighter fry color. I think will make good poppy seeds. So on top of the bun layer, I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer, and we're just going to make those tiny little poppy seed shapes. And we're gonna have a trick here. I'm just going to draw a couple, and then we're going to duplicate that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add the black outlines to these, and it doesn't have to be super dark. Some of them just kind of like really abstract kind of. All right, so we're going to do that, and I have it all on one layer. We're going to go ahead and duplicate, and then we're going to rotate and move it around. And once you have half of it done, we can pinch all those together and duplicate that. I'm going to go ahead and flip horizontally, and then I'm just going to drag it over to the other side. And then we just need one more small little section up here. So I'm going to take my selection tool. I want freehand, and I'm just going to grab a chunk that looks like it'll fit in the space that I want to use. 3-finger swipe down, we're going to copy. 3-finger swipe down, we're going to paste, and then we can move a copy of that section right up over here. Just like that. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and pinch all those poppy seeds together so they're on one layer. That is looking like a mighty fine sandwich, if I do say so myself. It's missing one thing though. And I don't know about you guys, but I have to have ketchup to dip my fries in. I'm going to make a little mound of ketchup over here. So I'm going to go behind the burger. So I'm going to make a layer on top of the plate layer. It's going to be for my outline. And we're just going to kind of do like a little dollop of ketchup. So we're going to start here. And sometimes, you know, you can get that nice little swirl on top of the ketchup. And then it just kind of pools around itself. There we go. Nice little ketchup pile. We're going to go ahead and add a layer underneath. And ketchup is pretty red. So I'm going to find a color that I think is going to match our Sloppy Joe pretty well. We're just going to go ahead and color that in. let's go ahead and alpha lock that and give that a little Gaussian blur too. Make it, just soften it up a bit. Okay. There's our Sloppy Joe with a pile of ketchup and some crisp cut fries. Now, to finish this off into a sticker, let's go ahead and hide our color palette. We're going to grab all of our layers. So here's all of our Sloppy Joe. We're going to group that together, make it smaller. Group our ketchup and group our plate. Just so that we have a nice clean grouping and it's easy to add new layers and see what we're doing. I'm going to add a new layer, move that group for the plate above it. Here's the layer as the last layer. I'm going to grab all these by clicking and swiping right on each of those so that I can make this just a little smaller. I need it to come inside so that I have room for my offset. So now we're going to go ahead and turn the background off. I've got my last layer selected. I'm going to go ahead and grab True White by double tapping. We're using the hard airbrush, and you can find that under airbrushing all the way at the bottom. It's this hard airbrush. I've just created a favorites, which is right here. It's handy to get to. If you are interested in learning how to reorganize your brush library, I will be coming out with a course all about brushes. So be sure you sign up for my newsletter, link in the bio down below to learn more about when that course comes out. I'm going to make this bigger, and then we're just going to start outlining. Start with the top bun. And there is our plate of Sloppy Joe and French fries. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click the bell icon so you can be notified of future videos. I try to upload video tutorials on Wednesdays and vlogs or day in the life videos on Saturdays. So make sure you check back those days to see what my new video is for that week. You can find me online. Go to 3milelaneco.com. It's linked down in the description below. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Just type in 3milelaneco and I should pop up. I hope you enjoyed our video today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!